How safe do you think your pet is in your vehicle? Hello, fellow pet lovers. How in the world are you? Today, we're going to talk about traveling with our pets and what kind of dangers that we can avoid and prevent to keep our pets healthy and to make you worry-free. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Bruce Bauersfeld, D.V.M. Most people call me Dr. B. I've helped tens of thousands of pet owners just like you solve their pets' problems and make you worry-free. If you want to kick the tires, website and links below. First, a little survey. How do you transport your pet right now? Now, I'm not talking about the crisis situation. Normal, I'm going to go to Starbucks with Fido or Fluffy and have a latte. How are you going to put them in the car? How safe do you think your pet is in your vehicle? No, this is not a comment or a question about your driving. Don't confess whether you drive well or anywhere in between. What I'm interested in is if you're driving down the highway, normal set of circumstances, no COVID, no emergency exit, just on your way to Starbucks for a latte with you and your pet. How safe do you think your kid would be in an accident? Safety inside the vehicle. We talked about what you were doing. I've distilled this down into the following mini groups, which I'll pop up on the screen here in a second. How safe is your pet in your vehicle? How do you transport your cat? Cats first. Cats go first today. Loose, seatbelt, carrier, cat ear, crate. The cat ear is the cat in the bag, what we talked about for emergency transport or any transport. Of all the choices, I think these are the, I'm sure you can come up with a few other crazier ones. Not that you would ever transport your kitty crazily, but these are the standard choices that I see all the time in my parking lot. No loose cats. Seatbelt, carrier, cat ear, crate. I think a seatbelt with a cat in a harness is possible, but I lined it out. I think there's too much of a chance for the kitty to spook and start flipping out, and that doesn't make any sense to me. Cats like security. That's why the cat in the pillowcase is a no-brainer. It's not, I can't say every cat's going to love it, but from the standpoint of being loose in a panic-stricken car when people are throwing things in and out of it, it's unbelievably good. Just unbelievably good. You want something to keep, think about the accident that we're trying to prevent calamity. You can't get in your seatbelt. I can't get into a vehicle in the United States, I hope, most of the world, and be legal without your seatbelt on. Why? Because seatbelts prevent injuries and save lives. It's not a no-brainer to us, but when I grew up, there wasn't a seatbelt in the car. That was before a seatbelt was concernable. Made that up. Sorry. So, what's the basic principle of the seatbelt? Well, the basic principle of the seatbelt is person in the front seat, stop, smash through windshield, big injury. Maybe you go straight through. Maybe you go splat and die. But the momentum in the stop is very, very bad. So we want to try to simulate or prevent that as best we can. I think seatbelts for dogs are fantastic. And if I didn't have a mini flock, because I tried them once upon a time, once you get past 2 or 3, getting the dogs in and out of the vehicle is just a way too many moving parts for me. It just took way too much time. I'm a crate person. I put them in, I'm not comfortable with a loose dog in the car. And I'll share this with you with COVID and we're doing curbside service, talking with clients 9.99 times out of 10, standing in the parking lot, the dogs usually are loose in the back seat. Cats generally have carriers. We'll offer people that don't have carriers, they can pick up one and borrow one if they need to. Recommend the cat ear, cat in the bag principle, but many of us ride with dogs loose in the car. And that's a choice. I don't think it's a good choice in an accident. Do I see a lot of accidents with cars and kitties and dogs and cats? No. But when I do, they're not particularly good. So some type of carrier, and when the carriers can easily be attached to a seatbelt so that the carrier doesn't go flying through the windshield and the like. The carriers in my van are tied down, so they're not going to be movable. I'm not aware of any huge studies for canines in carriers versus other things that have been done by safety people, veterinary schools or the like. Most all the information we have is anecdotal. A very common fireside chat in the evening at dog shows once or twice a year. Someone will bring up safety in the vehicle. So for kitty cats, they need to be in something confined. That's going to give them security, and it's going to give them comfort and protection. You don't want a loose cat in the vehicle. A loose cat in the vehicles are in the wrong place instantly, in my experience. Under the gas pedal, under the seat, neither of which is tenable. Under the gas pedal, giant, or under the brake, even worse. But if they're under or either place loose, what happens when you open and close the door? You get out of the vehicle, the kitty sees daylight. Not good. Kitties need to be in some type of carrier or restraint for their health and safety, mental health as much as their safety. So moving on to dogs. They can be loose in the car. They can have a seatbelt. They can be in a carrier. They can be in a crate. Legally, they can be in a tie down in the back of a pickup, but you couldn't ever get me to even blink at the possibility of putting one of my dogs in the back of a pickup that's cross-tied, let alone approve of anybody that does it. Sorry if you do that. I just get shivers when I see that. Just doesn't bode well with me. So we're back to the same type of things for kitties. They bouncing around loose, accident, you're going to have a problem. In a carrier, in a crate, in a seatbelt, they're going to have some reasonable protection. Notwithstanding, the majority of dogs, probably 60%, I've been doing a kind of a little, in preparing for this, checking out which dogs and which vehicles are in which devices. 60-70% of the canines that come to the practice right now are loose in the car. A couple of them have those what I call back seat slings, where kind of a tarp sits over the headrest of the front seats, covers up the footwell, extends onto the back seat. So you basically have got the back seat and a hammock in the front, so if they do go forward and slip, they don't crash and fall into the footwell. I don't know how well that protects them from being a flying object, but it does protect injuries if they slide off and go into the back seat, because I've had dogs rupture cruciates in the back seat of the car, getting on and off those seats or bouncing around or whatever they do. The biggest danger, which is I see all the time, is that people got the windows open a little bit, hot, crack, no ventilation, it's hot. Just this last week, one of my patients, waiting to see good old Dr. B, goes through a window and in the parking lot. Fortunately, it just stuck around and mom or dad got him back in, but I ended up checking him to make sure he didn't hurt himself going through the window. Close the windows if the dog's loose, please. That concludes our segment for today. Thank you all for joining me. I trust you all will have a very safe and happy and successful kitty and puppy day. To check out the video prior to this, it's this one over here. To check out the video coming up next, check out this one down here. Feel free to share this series with your friends so that they and their pets can benefit as well. Thanks for joining me here today in the 5-Day Challenge. I can't wait to see you in the next episode.